The city lost a good man, an even better husband. I love you, honey, and you'll always be my knight in shining armor, my shotgun rider. Rest easy, my love. We will take it from here.
Officer Daniel Webster, you leave this earth with the profound respect of your community, your police department, and your family. You will be missed and never forgotten.
All right, Michelle, super excited to meet you. Why don't we start off by talking about why you got involved in cops?
Well, kind of a easy story. My husband was killed in the line of duty 3 years ago last week, actually, was his end of watch date, October 29th. My husband was shot on October 21st of 2015, and I removed him from life support on October 29th of 2015. After that, and after settling through all that, the cops community comes in to people that are involved in the line of duty death, and that's when you meet them. I had no idea about cops before that. I'd never even heard of the organization with the department I work for. So that's how I came to know them, and actually met several survivors, one of who, Cheryl Schultz, is from my state, who's our president right now. And they literally come in and when the smoke clears and pick you up after you've fallen.
Talk to me a little bit about what the sort of the grieving process was like, because I have to imagine it didn't start when you decided to pull him from life support, but from when he got shot.
Right. So being that I am a deputy as well with the neighboring department, my husband worked for the city PD, I work for the county PD, but all in the same city in Albuquerque. I had begun to get text messages from people that we all work with because they were listening to the radio, and people had known that something had happened, and so my notification basically was, is Dan okay? And I, of course, I'm in my kitchen cooking dinner, and it just starts as this whole, your heart just stops, and I remember standing there saying, no, 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 like you just want to erase time and go back for those few minutes to change it, and it becomes that moment where everything around you just kind of just collapses, and you can't see anything but this tunnel. And from that point on, of course, being a first responder myself, I kind of went into work mode myself, taking care of other people. I'd make phone calls to his family and my family, and I kind of went into work mode at that point, not really taking into account how I actually needed to be and handle things. And it became a struggle for me. And there was a lot of struggle as far as dealing with family, of different people. Just the amount of people at the hospital was massive, and you're just trying to get by, and it becomes a massive process that it's a whirlwind. And there are parts of that week that I don't remember, probably because your body does that on purpose to prevent you from remembering, but you have to just do things to get through it and make decisions. And I'm sure I didn't make the best decisions, and I hope I did, but it becomes very difficult to really hone in on how do I take care of myself, and it becomes you rely on all those other people that are there for you. And a lot of people who have been through certain things. One of my best friends, her husband was killed in Afghanistan in 2003, her first husband, and she was there, and she became someone I really needed to lean on, even though she was nothing to do with law enforcement, but just going through losing a spouse. But it was difficult, but I had an army of people to hold me up, and I wouldn't be sitting here without those people.
The city lost a good man, an even better husband. I love you, honey, and you'll always be my knight in shining armor, my shotgun rider. Rest easy, my love. We will take it from here.
Officer Daniel Webster, you leave this earth with the profound respect of your community, your police department, and your family. You will be missed and never forgotten.
Talk to me a little bit about cops. What happened when they came in, and what that process was like?
So I didn't actually get involved, or I didn't really meet cops until after the service. They usually kind of give people space until after the service is done, and they don't really come in. They want to give people the ability to just get through that part where you're not going to remember. They want to come in when you're kind of ready, and kind of when everybody else goes away. So when I first met the people I did meet for cops, really, I didn't understand what any of it was. And Cheryl had begun talking to me about getting ready for, of course, we were getting ready for Police Week and all of that, which I was all ready to go to and do all of that because I was also burying Dan in Arlington during Police Week. He's buried at the National Cemetery, so to organize that during Police Week, the fact that we were able to do that through Arlington, amazing. I don't know if you ever know about, with Arlington, you can't plan a funeral because they schedule them. So the fact that we were able to do that during that week was tremendous. So planning all of that, I was getting ready for Police Week with cops and doing all of that. And Cheryl had begun to talk to me about the spouses retreat. And I told her, I'm not going to that. I don't need to go to that. You know, those are a bunch of cop wives. I'm not a cop. You know, I'm a cop. I don't need to go around that. I was very resistant.
Sure.
And I went and I completely collapsed into those women. Most of them, there was a few men, but most of the women, and needed it more than I ever dreamed of. And those people have become a rock for me. I was able to be a wife instead of just a police officer whose husband was killed. And I just really became involved, and I wanted to become more involved on an agency side as well, doing stuff with my agency and other agencies in my area as far as utilizing cops to try to help departments through line of duty death and help officers learn how to prepare their families for something that could happen. So that's what I'm doing right now. And cops has been the driving force for that.
The sad truth is that this will happen to other people. What words of strength, of hope can you give to people who find themselves in your shoes?
So one thing that for me, and I realized this after I went to Florida for a getaway after my husband's federal trial, and I was sitting on the beach in Vero Beach, Florida, and I watched the sunrise, and I took a lot of pictures of the sunrise, and it said something to me that morning, and I tell this to everyone that I meet with this, is that no matter what happens, the worst can happen, the sun is always going to come up tomorrow, no matter what. And I mean, in our lifetime and decades and centuries from now, the sun is always going to come up, no matter what happens, and it's a new day. So you can either choose to get up and start your day, you can get out of bed, or you can stay in bed. What are you going to do? So that's my strength, is no matter what happens, the sun's going to come up. So you can get through it.
Cool. Thank you so much for coming on and sharing your story.
Thank you so much.
Guys, it's going to take you 2 seconds to hit that share button. Every time we share these videos, we help change lives. So thank you all for sharing. Thanks for watching. God bless America.
Thank you.